Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Is Not My Show. I am your host, Dewana Bradley, where we talk to people who are living here in our local area and across the United States. Because here at This Is Not My Show, it's not about me, it's about the people that we interview and have great conversations with. And today, I want to I am so excited to have Josh Dawson with us here of the Broadway show MJ that will be coming to our city very soon. Josh, welcome to the show.
Oh my goodness! Thank you so much for having me. I'm a fellow Iowan, so I am delighted to be home. It's been a while. So
Well, we say welcome home. So we always love to have former Iowans come back
mm,
after we know you've done amazing things and been in many shows. So why don't we start off just talking a little bit about your background, your Iowa ties, and what got you into theater?
sure. So my family moved to Iowa. I was born in Atlanta. My mother's entire family is from Cedar Rapids, Mount Pleasant.
Hmm.
And my mom, right after college, moved down to Atlanta where she met my father. And my dad one day decided to start a church. He's a pastor. I come from a very long line of ministers and decided to move back to Iowa to plant the church and
Hmm.
uprooted our family from Georgia. And I was there from, I think, 18 months old until right before I started high school. And so
Okay.
I went to a performing arts middle school called McKinley.
Hmm.
Um, and, I don't know when exactly I got bit by the theater bug. I can remember my first musical was
Yeah.
at the age of 6,
Hmm.
but I don't know when it sort of happened. I loved, I, I grew up listening to Prince and to Michael
Hmm.
Jackson. And so that type of music, so sort of the dancey rock, R&B, soul music has always just been in my blood. My dad was always playing funk music and Function and
Hmm.
Frankie Beverly. And so it just was a natural trajectory for me to sort of tap into that as a career. And I found a love for artistry very young. And I think from the age of 6 I pretty much have done a musical or a play every single year. uh
Wow.
College for it, for musical theater, started off at the Cincinnati Conservatory for Music, and then had got a show in New York and a couple throughout the country and a couple tours, and then
Mhm.
decided to finish up at the University of Michigan. And like I said, it's just always sort of been a part of my life, and but I've never lost my Midwestern roots.
Yeah.
My family is sort of transplanted up to Minneapolis now, so they're kind of
Hmm.
throughout northern Iowa and
Yeah.
Minnesota now. So that's the place that I still call home. I've been in New York
Mhm.
for 17 years and LA for 4 now, and kind of
Okay.
lived bi-coastal, but I still call the Midwest my home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like once you've been in the Midwest, like it just does something to your heart, right? Like you
Yes.
can't forget that.
You cannot. It's a very specific pace of life that
Hmm.
people aren't, it's different than like Chicago and like
Yeah.
Gary, Indiana, things like that. It's not big city life. It's just working
Hmm.
class, hardworking, kind. There's not a lot to fight about when you're all living in cornfields. It's just, if you can smile at me and I can smile at you, it feels like life is really simple. And I
Yeah.
miss it. I miss it very much.
Yeah, well, you know what? While you're here, you're going to experience that. So you'll get back to if you're in the grocery store, someone will just start having a conversation with you, and you'll be talking forever because that's just what we do here, right? Or
I
you're going to see
cannot
someone
wait.
smile at you going down the street. So you'll get that when you come here.
I cannot wait. I can't wait to spend some time at Hy-Vee. I don't know if you guys have Hy-Vee in Des Moines, but
Oh yes, all over the place.
ooh, a Hy-Vee breakfast. Come on. I cannot wait. Cannot
Yes,
wait.
matter of fact, you're not too far. There's a Hy-Vee downtown. Matter of fact, not too far from where you'll be at performing. So just so you know,
I'm telling
there's
you,
one very close to you.
I can't wait. Dairy Queen and Hy-Vee, those are my two things that I have to get when I get back home. So
Okay, well, they are here waiting for you. They are here waiting for you. So
perfect.
that's great. Talk a little bit about your role in the show. I know you're playing a couple of characters in the show. Talk to us a little bit about the show and those
Sure.
characters that you're playing.
Sure. So the musical experience, I like to call it experience because it's not like a typical Broadway musical,
Uh huh.
and people will know that when they come. I'll leave them with that. But The experience takes place around a couple of days of
Mhm,
Michael Jackson building this amazing show for the Dangerous tour.
mhm.
And throughout this sort of rehearsal process, we get some flashbacks of his life and sort of a deep dive into the humanity of this human being that's, transcended art and creation and just really tapped into love in a way that is very unique to maybe a handful of individuals in human history. And
Yeah.
um, it is just a glimpse of his humanity. Obviously, we see the dancing, we hear the singing,
Mhm.
we see the acting, we get all of that. But I think this is one of the first times, not the only, but one of the first times that we get a glimpse into this human.
Yes.
And there are some, I like to say, there are some common denominators between all of us. All of us love good music,
Mhm.
and that when you can tap into that sort of vibration of good music, it transcends race and creed and sexual orientation, religion,
Mhm.
geographic. It transcends all of that. And I know that because there are 3, 4-year-olds come and are reacting in the same way that people that were actually at Michael Jackson concerts back in the
Yes.
80s and 90s, in the same way. And that
Mhm.
for me is a testament not only to his artistry, but just the idea behind the artistry, which
Mhm.
was love and compassion and empathy. And this is going to be a show like people have never seen. And I like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but
Right.
trust me. And I know I'm biased because I'm in the show. But to answer your question, I play two different characters. I
Mhm.
play Quincy Jones.
Yes.
And Quincy Jones, if people don't know, is a major producer. He is long before he even met Michael Jackson, he was touring with Miles Davis and Duke Ellington. So an accomplished musician. And in the late 60s, maybe early 70s,
Mhm.
don't quote me, sort of reinvigorated um, Frank Sinatra's career. And so he sort of dropped down, and Frank Sinatra contacted him and was like, yo, I'm looking for an orchestrator to sort of rebuild my career. And Quincy has this amazing life where, you know, he was this accomplished musician and all of a
Mhm.
sudden decided one day, I'm going to move to Europe and study classical string arrangements with this Russian white woman. And
Mm.
subsequently comes back to the United States, and he meets up with Michael Jackson and
Yes.
some of the most iconic themes in his music, that and Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, that Thriller.
Yes.
These are
Uh-huh.
all because of Quincy Jones. He was the producer for his first 3 albums, including
Wow.
Thriller, which is to date the most selling album of all time.
Wow.
So I split my time in the show. I play him, and I also play Tito Jackson. So for those that don't know, Tito Jackson was the musical one of the family,
Mhm.
the dancer and the showman, and they needed someone out of all the brothers to like play the instruments, write the charts, play the
Mhm.
guitar, play the piano, sort of teach everyone. And so it's serendipitous because I'm a musician, but I'm not an actor, and
Mhm.
so I'm a producer. So these roles really feel like me on
Yeah.
stage, and subsequently, um, I have been working on this show for about 5 years. I actually got to build this role in workshops, in labs prior to the
Mhm.
past, and so it kind of just feels like I'm being myself on
Right.
stage, and it feels in alignment. So
Mhm.
yes.
No, that's great. What does it mean, just for you to be a part of this production? You have been a part of many productions, and to hear that you've been doing things since the age of 6, like that's really phenomenal to think that just you've kept that cadence going and you've been a part of different shows and done different things. What does it mean for you to be a part of this particular show?
Sure. I mean, this I would say is some of the. I mean, I've done film, TV, I've done Broadway. This show is probably the most rewarding work that I have
Mhm.
ever done, and I think it's because as an actor to be able to play an iconic role. I mean,
Mhm.
Quincy Jones outside of this show is my icon. I have
Yeah.
studied him profusely, and I like to tell people I'm sort of in a Quincy Jones era of my life. I'm moving to London
Mhm.
right after the show, and uh, but more so than that, I just think that I mean, it's Michael Jackson music.
Right.
So to be able to do a Broadway musical where I'm usually singing Rodgers and Hammerstein, I did
Mhm.
Hamilton for a while. It's music that, you know, I love. I love doing
Yeah.
it. It's iconic in its own right, but there's nothing like Michael Jackson music.
Uh-huh.
It has been
Absolutely.
the life force of my entire journey since as long as I have can remember listening to music.
Yeah.
Um, between Michael Jackson and Prince, and my stepdad sang background for Prince. So between these
Yeah.
two men, they are probably the two most influential in my life. And it just is one of those shows and one of those experiences where I just show up at the theater every day, and I'm as much of a participant as an audience member, even though I'm on stage, as
Mhm.
everyone else in that experience. When that
Yeah.
music starts, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, and all the
Uh-huh.
other doing the show, Beat It, you will see us grooving just like everybody. It, it feels like a rock concert more than it
Yeah.
is like a traditional Broadway musical. Yes, you have all your themes, you're acting, you're singing, you're dancing, but there are people dancing in the aisles.
Yeah.
And I have been doing shows for 20 years, almost 30 at this point.
Mhm.
Never experienced that.
Wow. No, that's great. Well, I know that, there's going to be this show is for everyone, but who will enjoy this show? I know I want to say that if you're a fan of Michael Jackson, you're going to enjoy it, but I feel like it's even more than that. So who would enjoy this show?
I, I mean, I don't want to be too pedestrian by saying everyone, but
Mhm.
really, I think you're going to have your fans of Michael Jackson, your diehard, almost cultist type fans that
Yeah.
come, that every word, every lyric, every melody. You're
Mhm.
going to have a newer generation who probably those are the children of the parents who were fanatics. And then you're going to have those the other group of people that show up that are just curious. I
Yeah.
think outside of his artistry, outside of uh his music, I think one of the things about Michael Jackson is that he was a very complicated human being.
Mhm.
I think what this show allows us to do, and I see pop culture and culture in general. One of the things that I love that art is pushing us to do is to see not the art
Right.
first, but it's asking us to examine, okay, yes, this person is a billionaire. Yes, this person has
Mhm.
20 plus Grammys or this many Oscars. But
Right.
who is the person? Who
Mhm.
is the person behind all of that? And more so than anything,
Yeah.
the existential question is, can we separate the person from the,
Mhm. Yeah.
and I think there is no right or wrong answer. To some people can't, some people
Mhm.
can. I think what that allows us to do is to refocus our lens and to see humanity first.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
all have joy and
Yes.
successes and
Mhm.
failure, some more than others, but there
Mhm.
are common denominators, which is we all have blood and we all have bones and we
Mhm.
all have trauma. All of us, every single person on this planet, if you have lived in the last 500 years, you have trauma. And
Yes.
that is to be able to identify and examine someone who, despite all of that,
Mhm.
despite all of the fill in the blank, right,
Yeah.
was still able to create art that, humans die. The only
Mhm.
we can truly achieve immortality is the things that we create, science,
Mhm.
technology, artistry.
Mhm.
And this person has been transitioned from this plane for some time.
Right.
And October, one song goes to number one every year. That is a testament to his artistry. So
Mhm.
to answer your question, and as an actor, the demographic that I am actually most enthralled with is that category. The people that are like, I don't know what I'm
Mhm.
going to experience, but I'm
Right.
curious enough and open enough to receive any answer.
Yeah.
Or I may not get the answer, and I'm just glad that I showed up to get more information.
Yeah.
And that for me is, I love art that asks us questions.
Mhm.
You know, if people can go to Sweeney Todd and see someone murdering someone and putting their bodies into pies and laugh about it,
Mhm.
and comedy,
Yeah.
we to be able to, we're so sophisticated, we're so intelligent now
Mhm.
to be able, as my dad likes to say, to be able to critically think and analytically think.
Yes.
That is the new evolution. And I
Mhm.
an actor in this show to be able to present those questions to people, whether they have an answer or not. I just
Yeah.
like being able to, hey, how do you feel about this? Do you not like it? Did it rub you the wrong way? Were you
Right.
dancing? Great. Art
Mhm.
does not always feel good. It
Yeah.
doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it leaves us with questions that then introduce more questions.
Mhm.
And that's great.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. Just how you laid that whole thing out, and it's so true. And I think this will be for everyone. I know I'm really excited to be able to come. I grew up at the time of Michael Jackson and all of the songs and
Mm,
experiencing all of the things like Thriller and all of the other songs that were created. I know for myself, I'm going more so to just see if there's something different that as a
mm,
little kid I didn't catch, because as a kid, you're just kind of like, oh, this is great. This looks wonderful. I want to be that. But now as an adult, I'm going, I'd love to hear more of the story that maybe I didn't quite understand when I was a kid to
mhm.
see how that resonates with me. So
Sure.
we are very excited to have you all here
Mm,
in our space. Everyone, I want to remind our audience that the show times is April 30th, Tuesday, April 30th to Sunday, May 5th. Show times are going to be Tuesday through Friday, 7:30 p.m., Saturday at 2 and 7:30 p.m., and Sunday at 1 and 6:30 p.m. You want to get your tickets to this event. And I'm just being biased. I haven't seen it, but I already know it's going to be great because it's Michael Jackson. Like, how could we go wrong with this story at all? And I love that we're going to get a glimpse of moment of time in his life to see everything. Josh, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time talking to
thank
me about this experience that we're going to have and that you are a part of. Any other things that you'd like to share with the audience?
Honestly, I think you nailed it.
Oh,
Just what I ask of people is that they remain open, and I can promise no matter what, they will be changed by the end.
all right. You all heard it from Josh. Make sure you have an open mind coming into this space. You can get your tickets at dmpa.org. Again, that's dmpa.org. Josh, thank you so much for taking some time to speak with me today.
Beautiful day.
All right, you too. Look forward to seeing you.
Okay, have a good one.
You too.